Hello, everyone. So today we're going to be getting into the Rajput, which will be a kind of a caste or a cultural group within India here that we're going to be getting into. Will be influential and last quite a long time, and still you do see some of their descendants today. So if we go back a little bit, and this is from some earlier videos, you do have the fall of the Guptas. If you remember, the Hephthalites came in, or the White Huns, and were able to basically just end the Gupta Empire. And what was interesting, however, in the north and northeast, in what is modern day India and a bit into modern day Pakistan, some of these invaders, these Hephthalites, are actually going to hang out and stay. And they'll kind of come to a point where they settle down, they're going to intermarry a bit, and kind of like a new cast of people are going to be formed out of this, and these are known as the Rajput. And the Rajput are basically the leaders of this particular kind of new section of India, and they are going to claim descent from Kshatriyas, the warrior class, so it's going to put them a little bit higher up. And some of the leadership, it depends on actually where you're at, because this is going to be a mix of different groups, will claim descent from Krishna or Rama, and that is from the Hindu text, the Ramayana. And what we do see, though, is a mix. Okay, so for instance, the Rajput will eat meat, where traditional Hindus really didn't eat much meat or any meat at all. Not beef, though; they're not going to go that far. And you're going to see this kind of blending of cultures, a little bit of the local Hindus with some of the mix of the Huns that had come in, and form this kind of warrior caste, if you will, that will take leadership in the power vacuum that's left after the Guptas have departed. Now, we have some core concepts here. They are not necessarily a unified people. It's very similar to ancient Greece or India, actually, before Alexander arrived. This is either king or clan based. And what you're going to see here is you're going to have localized clans. Some are going to be stronger. Some are going to be weaker. So you have smaller areas or much larger areas that they're going to control. Culturally, they're going to have some similarities, but this is, again, not an empire. And on the right, you see the area that we're basically talking about here. A series of dynasties by around the 800s are going to be set up, okay, all across that particular region. Again, kind of thinking city-state. The biggest and the strongest is the Mewar Kingdom. That is Mewar. For some reason, I didn't write it down there, so I'm sorry. Very big on their military. Since they claimed descent from the Kshatriyas, they focused on military training. Their favorite was a double-edged scimitar known as the Khanda. You see that on the bottom right there. And they actually even had some ceremonies around the adoration of their swords and veneration of swords. Their men were often hired as mercenaries by outside empires a lot, actually. And there you see some of the armor that the men would wear. So very militaristic type of societies, would often fight with each other, but still would control, but still you would never see an individual kind of rise up and control everything. Now, what's interesting here is that women, you have some things that develop here. They do practice purdah, which is the seclusion of women, okay? Most buildings are actually segregated by sex. In public, they were expected to veil. Their social standing, again, is fairly restricted, especially in public. and so their mobility is under really strict control. You see here sati, that practice of a widow throwing herself on the funeral pyre of her husband was still in full effect. And again, the goal was to control them. Now, women's rights today in India has been a big deal. More and more women are protesting for them. And actually, on the right here, you see this is a group of Rajput women who were in the 2000s here protesting for more equal rights, more laws of protection for women. And this is going to be a theme that we see, unfortunately throughout the year, but something that is pretty prevalent here. This particular time period is also very much known for their painting. As you can see here, very bright painting. Over here, you have a painting of a Rajput king. And on the right here, of course, we have our Hinduism going on here with an avatar in the middle. Could be Krishna. I don't want to lock myself into that. But super important. Everybody was doing it, if you will. Like every kind of city or city-state would have their court painters and stuff like that. And it's really is a strong period of India for that is known for painting. Now, the Rajput actually, for quite a while, will do a pretty good job keeping out groups like the Sindh or the Umayyads or the Ghaznavids, which eventually the Ghaznavids take over Pakistan, even fighting off part of the Delhi Sultanate. Like again, the similarity, I think ancient Greece is really familiar. They would often argue with themselves, but if someone from the outside came, like that is a no-go. Eventually, however, they would be attacked, just like everybody else in India, by the Mughals in the early 1500s. But it would actually take throughout the first 3 sultans of the Mughal Empire to actually subdue and conquer the Rajput in general. Even then, it wasn't far from absolute. The Rajput themselves would not officially accept Mughal rule until 1615, and the first time they started fighting was 1527. So you're looking at about a 90-year period that it took to actually subdue them. In the end, the Mughals kind of absorb them, but they keep their cultural caste. Okay, they were very difficult to deal with militarily. So the idea is, like, again, I have here, you absorb them, you make them part of the army, you let them keep their caste, and they're going to help you out. And then the Rajput would actually have a lot of marital ties to them, and that would actually serve them. So this is, kind of a short little thing here that we see, but it's a really unique kind of society that kind of popped up here. In many ways is still around today. And again, this is the type of thing we see when you have a power vacuum of the fall of an empire, and then no one kind of there to pick up the pieces right away. But the Rajput were really, really interesting, and we'll continue to talk about some other empires in and around India as well. So I hope you like this one, and I will see you guys soon.